Hello, gorgeous souls. Welcome. Today we're taking a closer look at the Libra new moon. It's really tipping the scales in our favor. I love the cosmic energies that are happening between now and the end of the year. You'll see why. We'll dive into more of this today. We have Venus in its home sign of Libra. We have Mars in its home sign of Scorpio, and this is bringing such an incredible balance of the feminine and masculine energies and so helpful for our creations. You can accomplish, create, experience so much in these final months of the year, like more than you've created the last 9 months. So you can really lean in and leverage energy and frequency. So I'll talk more about that today. And I also want to invite you into a 2 hour activation with me called Timeline Fusion, where I'll be showing you how in the Akashic Records to bend time in your favor and not be limited by the constraints of time, but to have time respond to you and really bring your desires to fruition between now and the end of the year, not through more hustle, but through knowing how to work with these cosmic currents. So I'm going to post that link below if you're called to join me. We're also going to do a lot of higher self embodiment work, hence the title Timeline Fusion, really learning to connect with the consciousness of your higher self and see through her lens. And when you do that, it's a game changer. And speaking of this ability to see through a new lens, a new perspective, that is really highlighted with the Libra energy. Libra is the master at taking on a new perspective and not getting too attached to the emotion around it. And when we are able to see things through a new lens, everything shifts because then we become attuned to new possibilities. We see things that we were unable to see before. So, this new moon is actually bringing through a lot of clarity. So, before I dive in further, you know me, I just tend to go right in. There's so much I want to share with you. I do want to officially welcome you in, invite you to say hi below. You may be listening on the podcast, you may be here with me on YouTube. Either way, say hi, subscribe, follow. I really love to get to know my community. So share with me below how you're feeling in this energy, what you're creating in this new moon energy. And now let's dive in and explore this more together. I'm going to share my screen here, pulling up this new moon chart. So we have the sun conjunct the moon at 28 degrees Libra. Once again, we always see a conjunction with a new moon. That's what makes it a new moon. So I encourage you to check out where you have 28 degrees of Libra in your chart. You may or may not have planets there, but what you're really looking for is the house that it falls in, because this is where more clarity can set in, where you're going to experience the Libra energy of harmony, of balance, and, where you may be out of balance. And I feel that is actually a big theme coming in right now. We don't have to create change overnight, although we may be feeling more motivated to do that with Mars and its home sign of Scorpio as well. We're like, let's go, let's get it done. But there's certainly an awareness here of where we may be feeling out of balance. And this could be in relationship dynamics where the energy is feeling off, where there may be a realization of where we're not on the same page. This could be in many other areas of your life as well. This really Libra is the relationship sign, so there is a big focus on relationships, but this could be showing up in your career where you may be feeling burnt out, where you're putting more energy in than you're allowing yourself to receive. This could be in an area of your health where you're like, it's time to clean up my diet and my exercise routine because it's just not feeling in harmony. Libra energy seeks this out, and I've really noticed this with people, especially that have Libra moons in their chart. If they don't have this sense of harmony and balance in their life, they really feel that emotionally, like it can really throw them off. They're always seeking that. And since we're all playing in this energy right now, it's of like utmost importance for all of us at this time to create more of that beauty and harmony and flow in our life. So Libra is also connected to fairness, to harmony, to justice, and has this incredible ability because it is an air sign. And when we're working with the element of air, it, it can detach. Air signs are known for detachment, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all. In fact, an element of detachment from emotions can be very helpful because when we get too entangled with the emotions in any given situation, it often leads to confusion and can pull us back into our younger self or past memories and actually make it harder to see the situation clearly. And Libra is able to really pull back and detach from the emotions around a situation so we can just feel like, oh my goodness, the veil is lifting. I'm now seeing through the fog. I'm seeing what I need to do to evolve into this next version of me. So it's a lot of beautiful clarity here, a lot of beautiful energy. And when we see planets at the final degrees of a sign, there is the opportunity to work with the energy in the highest expression. So every zodiac sign has a lower octave expression, a shadow side, as well as a higher octave expression. And depending where we are on that spectrum, completely different experience. So Libra in the lower octave expression can be lost in confusion, lost in codependency, so entangled in other people's perspectives that it's unable to hear the truth, their inner truth. But I'm getting the sense here where we have this new moon falling at 28 degrees that's helping us wrap up Libra season, and then we'll be preparing to move into Scorpio season. We can play with this energy in the most evolved expression. And the most evolved expression of the Libra energy, she is not confused. She is able to easily see other people's perspective, to know where they are coming from, but not lose that connection to herself. She is in her sovereignty. She knows her truth. She knows her power. And this is where we see the scales tip from that archetype of Libra being an indecision and confusion and codependency and people pleasing to know. She is clear, she is certain. And that energy is what's really coming through at this time. So, the ruler of this new moon is Venus, our goddess of love, of beauty, of harmony, and its home sign of Libra. Planets in their home sign, we see the purest expression of that energy. So, this can be a new beginning, a new chapter when it comes to money and receiving and relationship dynamics. If you are noticing that, okay, maybe I am falling into codependency. I lost a sense of self because I was too entangled in fear of judgment, what other people may think of me, or I set aside my own desires and my own needs and I just poured into others. This could be a time to really come back and start to explore who you are, what you desire, what you need to feel filled up. And I love that Libra really connects to this energy of beauty. And I talked about this in the last video as well, like creating beautiful spaces. If you're like me and you love fashion, this can be a time to really look at your wardrobe. And I have found throughout my life as I grow and change, I kind of, some of the clothing that I once loved, I don't anymore. And it's time to like upgrade my wardrobe to match who I am today. And I love to express myself through clothing as well. This may or may not resonate with you. Beauty comes in many different forms. This can be the beauty of nature and getting outside in nature. And this can really help with the clarity piece too, because if we are spending all day just like scrolling on Instagram or on these social media sites, our brain is constantly in overdrive. We're bombarded by information and even opposing views. You know, we watch one reel where somebody's giving their insight or their opinion, their take on something, and then we see another and it completely contradicts it. And our mind is constantly in overdrive. And that is what is leading to a lot of exhaustion and depletion. If you're feeling that right now, it could be coming from that, just like this overload of information and not giving your brain an opportunity to just turn off and rest. And hence spending time in nature. That's really does beautiful things for us in terms of grounding and really being present with ourselves and allowing allowing that space that is required to hear our inner truth. Because it will come through that voice of your soul, that voice of your intuition. You'll hear it when you take time to cultivate that relationship, when you take time to detach from the external noise and come back home to your truth. So I was also talking about this energy here of Mars and its home sign. And look at this. At the time of the new moon, we have Mars, the planet of drive, motivation, ambition, exactly conjunct Mercury in Scorpio. Words hit deep right now when we have Mars conjunct Mercury. Like, we got to be aware of the power and the potency of our words because they hold power. They hold power to shift people, to awaken people, to help them entertain a new perspective or the lower octave expression of this energy. We're using our words or we're weaving a narrative that's causing fear, or that's rooted in manipulation or unhealthy power dynamics. And this is where how we play with the expression of each of these signs and energy, it can be completely different if we're coming from a higher level of consciousness versus a wounded consciousness. I mean, communication that's rooted in manipulation, control, power over, or communication that is rooted in deep love and the power to help someone transform and see things from a new light and a new perspective. I know if you're here, we're using these energies in the highest expression in our relationships, in our life. This can also be good for any of my content creators, entrepreneurs, for producing really powerful content that moves people. We sense that. We sense when something's surface level, created by AI versus coming from somebody's heart and coming from somebody's truth, and it lands with us and we feel it in our body. This is an opportunity to really create that content, to really speak from your truth, and that's going to land with your soulmate clients. So we also have this beautiful water trine that's happening here with Mars trining Jupiter in Cancer. So this energy of Jupiter in Cancer is a continual reminder to look at how we are nourishing ourselves. We're moving through a lot as a planet right now. There is a lot going on. My sensitive souls, you're feeling it. You're feeling it deeply. And I think this is part of the veil lifting where we're really seeing the truth behind people's words. We're really not just that, yes, behind people's words, but we're seeing, how do I word this? Where people are in their soul's evolution and what's a match to us and what isn't. And like, what are the intentions behind where somebody is coming from? We're clearly seeing that. If maybe we were lost in deception, stuck in the illusion, it's like that veil is lifting. And that can feel a little bit scary at times too. We're like, wow, I'm seeing the truth. How was I in this fog? Now it's all looking more clear. And there's, we got to be loving and patient and compassionate with ourselves. And that's what Jupiter in Cancer reminds us, to look at how we are mothering ourselves, how we are nurturing ourselves, how we are moving through the emotions that can be emerging for us right now. So we have that trine with Mars, which is also like a lot of energy. So going back to the energy at play here and why I wanted to host the 2 hour activation timeline fusion at this time. Yes, because we're wrapping up the year and I always like to see, what can I create? Like, how can I blow my mind with what I'm able to create between now and the end of the year? Again, not through hustle, but through leveraging energy, frequency, intention, focus energy, working with these cosmic currents, creating from the feminine. I love to create from the feminine energy, of course, with a healthy dose of masculine to follow through, to show up. So this energy of Jupiter in Cancer trining Mars in Scorpio, we do have that water energy and like that drive and motivation to create from our soul's truth and to just have it flow without some of the obstacles that may have been present earlier on this year. There's this element of flow state that we can enter. Now, Jupiter is also trining Saturn here. So this isn't an exact grand trine, but it's close enough where I'm saying it's at play. It's at play. We're really feeling this. So Saturn now retrograding back to the 26th degree of Pisces can actually contribute to this theme of clarity coming in because we've already covered this part of the chart this year. Saturn has already been at the 26 degree mark of Pisces. Now it's retrograding back there. We have deeper insight into what are the karmic patterns that I am still entertaining. And we have free will. So it's on us to say, I'm going to continue in this pattern around money. I'm going to continue in this pattern around the relationship I have with myself, the relationship with others, or the relationship with my health. Again, this is where the individual astrology comes in, needing to see your chart or you looking at your chart to see exactly the areas where this is happening for you. But there's an awareness here of where there is a very outdated, because this is final degrees of the zodiac here, Saturn 26 degrees of Pisces, outdated pattern, outdated loop that you don't have to be stuck in any longer. It's time to create that change. It's time to let it go. You're really being asked to do this now between now and the end of the year because 2026 is, if you thought 2025 was a fast-paced moving year, just wait till we get into 2026. Time, our perception of time is not slowing down. We are working and understanding our relationship with time in a whole new way. It's not slowing down. It's again, if you thought this year was fast, with which a lot of us did, I know I had that experience collectively. It's just continuing into next year as well. So we have that grand trine and, Saturn and Jupiter here. Again, this is really good for my creators, my spiritual entrepreneurs with any programs, offers you're putting out into the world right now and just having them build momentum for you. So yeah, I really love this energy that's at play. And one other piece I want to look at in this chart today is a square that's happening between Jupiter and Chiron here. So Chiron at 24 degrees of Aries, squaring Jupiter over here at 24 degrees of Cancer can really make us aware of some of those old patterns we're invited to heal around the self. What I mean by that, because I know that's really broad and it does encompass a few things. It can be around the courage to go for what we want in life. Are we letting the voice of fear be louder than the voice of courage? Tip those scales. The scales are tipping in your favor. Let that voice of courage, let that vision be greater than your fear. This is about cultivating a belief in ourself. And again, it is a square, so there's tension there. There's tension. And I think it's creating change and healing through the lens of compassion. If we are in judgment of ourself, things don't really change, or it's harder to create change. Have you ever tried to just be hard on yourself, beat yourself up to create change, being angry at yourself for not posting more videos or being angry at yourself for not going to the gym more? Like, what does that do? That can motivate us, but not in a healthy way. Speaking of lower and higher octaves, yes, that can work, but not really work. Not really work, because the whole point of this journey is to cultivate that energy of self-love and compassion toward ourselves and others, and realize that that energy of compassion and patience with ourselves is what's going to create bigger change in our life. Okay, one other thing really jumping out here is Uranus, retrograding back to that 0 degree mark of Gemini. Really track where this is happening in your chart, the early degrees of Gemini, because this is undergoing massive change here. Uranus is the disruptor, the rebel, highest octave, the awakener, awakening us to what needs to change. And I love Uranus and Gemini because this is rapid change. This is part of what's contributing to the acceleration of what we need to change. Let the veil lift. Let's have clarity. No longer living in the fog or an illusion. We're clearly seeing what needs to change, and new opportunities can really flow in depending on where this is in your chart. Will depend on the area of your life where you're going through this awakening, this disruption, this veil lifting. All right, so those are the new moon energies. I would love to hear what really landed for you, what you are creating this new moon, and some overall themes to really play with. I mean, Libra is the relationship sign. So, looking at any intentions you have, relationships, romantic, friendships, with clients, with mentors, covers the gamut of relationships, where you would like to bring more beauty and peace and harmony into your life. Where is it feeling chaotic, and where are you ready to say, okay, let's breathe, let's rebalance. And I hope to see you in Timeline Fusion. Sending so much love your way. Happy new moon. See you soon. Bye.